Okay, this is the bottom shelf. This is more contemporary literature, although I have another shelf of more very modern literature. So I've got on the far left here Vanity Fair by Thackeray. So hopefully you can see that. Here is From the Madding Crowd by Hardy. Here's Jack London. What did Jack London write? Should know this. The Sea Wolf, that's the big one. Call of the Wild, White Fang, The Sea Wolf, and other short stories, and that nice thing. There's Heart of Darkness by Conrad and the Sacred Sharer. Letter Joseph Conrad, Nostromo. Here's Treasure Island by Stevenson. Here's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Some people, if you're old enough, may have read this in high school. I read this in elementary school. Moonfleet by Faulkner. This is actually about bootlegging in the U.S. during the Prohibition. Here's some Tolstoy. There's Anna Karenina. I read. I am about. Well, I guess I'm only about a third of the way in. And I had to put it down because it was kind of not very exciting. It was, it's got two storylines going. Anna Karenina is leading herself down the life of ruin, of course. And it's also about another person. Now, I don't know his name, but he's like a farmer. But he was in government or something. And so it kind of follows him and Anna Karenina around. And also, Anna Karenina's in kind of a royal family, and there's that kind of stuff. And here is Tolstoy's War and Peace. I haven't read that. Is it worth reading? It's got to be worth. It's. I think I know that Tolstoy was writing in a time where authors were paid by the page, and so that doesn't bode well for. Whether it's worth reading, because maybe he could have wrote his true purpose in War and Peace in half of that. So why would I spend double the time reading it? Oh well. Here's Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich. Also fiction. Journey to the Center of the Earth. People probably know that one. Henry James, The Europeans. And I've got some up here. Here's Moby Dick. And then two on Sherlock Holmes. There's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and the Return of Sherlock Holmes. And I've also got his Complete Novels and Stories, Volume 2, Sherlock Holmes. So, yes. All right. Fitzgerald, Great Gatsby. I've read this one. It's short, fairly short. There's nothing great about Great Gatsby. Gatsby is a character in this book. He's a rich guy, not very interesting, kind of pathetic in some parts of the book. Not a strong character, I don't think. There's nothing great about Great Gatsby. He is a lonesome character. There is a character in this book, though. It's a woman named as Jordan. She is a great. I would rather call this the Great Jordan. Forget Gatsby. And here is the. I think it's the movie version of the Great Gatsby that some director made. So that's what, and it's got some pictures in here of the movie. I'll show you. Hopefully you can see that. So that's that one there. Okay, Huxley, Brave New World. That's a staple. Read that one. Got to read that one. There's Aldous Huxley's The Island. Hemingway, Old Man the Sea. Okay, there's a few more literature here. Aerosmith by Sinclair Lewis. George Orwell's Animal Farm. I don't actually have 1984. Isn't that a shame? Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde. And here's Dracula. There's Dracula. Okay, I'm actually going to now do the contemporary literature, and I'll do the biography separately. Okay, here's my modern fiction, very modern fiction, as in most of the authors are still alive. So I've got some Rand on the far left here, all separated. I've got her 4 fictions. So there's Anthem. Anthem is good. I've read all of these. Anthem is about the individual. It's a very good one. Importance of identity, or having identity. Here's We the Living. This one is about life in Russia. It perhaps is a little bit about what she remembers of Russia, because she did live there, I don't know, into her teens or something like that. But so this is a little bit about what it was like in Russia, and it's about collectivism, I guess, but I'm not sure. I think each of these is like a word you can use to describe what it's supposed to be about, or what was Rand's purpose in writing it. So that's why Rand's books are often called philosophical in nature. That was the purpose of writing them. Many people write for entertainment, but Rand wrote for a philosophical idea that she wanted to portray in fiction. There's The Fountainhead. If you're unfamiliar with Rand and want to try one of her fictions, I would read The Fountainhead. Don't go to the next one. Don't go to Atlas Shrugged. Read The Fountainhead to start. The Fountainhead is about an architect, and it's very good. You can also, a movie was made of The Fountainhead. You can watch it on YouTube, actually. It was made, I don't know, black and white, so whatever that is. It's actually a pretty good film about The Fountainhead. So read the book, though. Don't spoil it by watching the film, unless you don't think you'll ever read the book, but that's ridiculous. You should, I'm sure you have time. Fountainhead, that's a good one. And then here's, of course, the some say the greatest work of fiction of Rand, but I think The Fountainhead is a better one. But this is certainly the most concentrated of her philosophy, would be Atlas Shrugged. And this is the one, of course, you hear in the media and all that kind of stuff. This is the book about the creation of the perfect society, as well as the, I want to say, the tolling of the bell, the funeral bell of society, portraying or showing that the world is going to end if it continues as it does, and the world does end in the Atlas Shrugged, because Atlas shrugs those who hold up the world, the people who work and the people who are productive. They go on strike. The actual original title for this book was The Strike. You can also read about, there's a woman named Isabel Patterson, was a libertarian during when Rand was alive. She wrote a book called The God and the Machine. I've read that one. I don't own it, but I just got it from the library. That's a good one too. Although Isabel Patterson has some religious tendencies, I found a lot of parallels with what Patterson was writing about and Rand. And Patterson's book was published when The Fountainhead was published the same date. So that's some good stuff there. But only if you really want to get into philosophy. Although I think everyone should have a little bit. You don't have to read as much into it as someone who's interested in philosophy, but you need to have some basics, especially the basics of your rights and things like that. And here's a little Ayn Rand sampler, tiny little thing. Okay, here's some more recent, this is all modern fiction. Okay, here's Arthur Koestler's Darkness at Noon. This is about a dystopia. So this is like 1984 or like Brave New World. Here's Sahara Special. I read this when I was in, if you can imagine, this is embarrassing, I think, to say. This was a required reading in a master's course that I took. It was a course on disability. So Sahara Special, it's a cute book about a little kid who has a disability and doesn't know it. And she walks around and does stuff as if it isn't a problem. So it's kind of interesting, I guess, but it has a nice little ending, and I don't want to ruin it for people who might read it, so I can't say anything else. Can't say anything else. Here's School Days by Patrick, I don't know, Chamoiseau, a French writer, obviously. This is about, oh geez, it was one of the, it's a country in the Caribbean about school in those days, and it is sort of about imperialism and about the English language ruining cultures. It's kind of on that line, so it's political, obviously. It talks about like the teachers are trying to teach them English, and they're beating them if they're using their native tongue, and it's that kind of stuff. So, what do you do? What do you say about that? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So this is a kind of a funny book, a comedy about the future. Got that one. That's that whole answer. Everything is 42. That's that one. Here's King Rat by Clavell. This is supposed to be about true nastiness when what happens sometimes in prison. People get truly out for survival, and they will just screw anyone to make a buck, kind of thing. So it's really ravenous. I don't want to say human nature, because then it labels all of us as being ravenous, crazy people, but it is what some people will do under excruciating conditions. Screw everyone. Here's Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, and Dan Brown's Angels and Demons. I've read Angels and Demons, but I don't remember much about it because it was a long time ago. I know that Dan Brown stuff is about conspiracy in the Catholic Church, in the Vatican, but that's about all I can remember. And adventures and stuff like that. Alrighty, I'll do this one and then I'll do the rest. I can't even see. So the rest of them there are all the same author, but I'll get to that in a second. I recently just got this online. Sparrowhawk. It's by Cline, Edward Cline. And this one is supposed to be about, it's a historical novel, and it's supposed to be about the New World era. So he took all the facts of the New World era, so that's European nations coming over to North America for the first time. They've taken all the facts and culture and way of life of that era and put it into a novel. So I thought that'd be neat, because I am interested in that New World era. So there's also a computer game that I play sometimes that is all about that era. It's called Colonization, the classic Colonization. There is a Civ 4 remake, Civilization 4 remake of Colonization, but it's not very good. The classic Colonization is good. There's also a freeware, not that you can just find Colonization Classic online too for free, but there's also like a remake by like third-party random people called Free Call, free and then COL. That's also supposed to be, they're trying to make Colonization on a probably Java or something system, and it's okay. They got updated, but that's all right. But that's also about that medieval era. Okay, last bunch, fantasy. This is all the same author, Gear and Gear. I'll show you them here. People of the River. So there's the authors. It's all the same authors. So these are books about Native American, that culture. Although there were many tribes of the Native Americans. They take like the U.S. and like southern Canada Native American tribes and do a historical novel. So they just kind of, there's obviously facts, like there's actually quite a big biography at the back. I can show you that. There's always a big biography at the back. It's like the biographies, you see all kinds of references. So they use history in creating these fictions. So I have read this one, People of the River. This one's okay. It's pretty good. Here's People of the Lakes. I've also read this one. This one is the best. This one's a good one because it's about trading. There's a trader. His name is Otter. They usually have animal names, but these are like adventure books for sure. But it's Otter and Black Skull, who's a warrior, and then they have a woman with them, but who's also a warrior, and it's very good. It's actually nice. Here's People of the Mist. So I have a bunch here that I haven't read yet. People of the Mist, People of the Earth. And I recently bought these. They're kind of more used looking because they are used. People of the Lightning, People of the Sea, and People of the Fire. So that is it for my fiction.